Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean.
Senior Report is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment.
From the Access Channel 5 television studio in Mayville, it's Senior Report with Reed Powers. Senior Report is broadcast live throughout northern Chautauqua County on Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. each week. Call in and share a thought, make a comment, ask a question, or simply wish someone a happy birthday on Chautauqua County's only live call-in senior program. Since 1995, Reed has been bringing viewers hundreds of interesting guests, informing the community on a variety of subjects. Here's the host of the show, Reed Powers.
And good morning. What a beautiful day in Chautauqua County. It's actually above freezing. What a winter, huh, guys? What a winter. All right, we're all survivors, though, and we're used to anything in Chautauqua County, although usually the weather's a little more temperate all over the country, really. I mean, this is not Chautauqua County weather. It's worldwide weather, just about. I want to say we have a great show coming on. We're going to talk about alternate energy. You know, many of us are hooked into the electric company and paying a bundle for our energy. There are ways to do it that are much cheaper and free in some cases. So we're going to talk about that with David Moller, who is runs a company that is involved in energy, wind and solar and that sort of thing, which are just a wonderful alternative. Although wind energy, they tell me, is takes a lot of windmills. Okay, guys. Lots of stuff happening around the world. I'm sure we've all seen the Obama news. Fortunately, it passed some sort of a budget, and it looks like we're going to have some sort of help for the seniors, I might add. They've been cutting senior funding right and left, and senior health care right and left. Your Medicare, Medicaid have dropped sharply in benefits, and costs have gone ape. And everything is getting crazy. He wants to have a $10 and change minimum wage. In many areas, it's a lot. It's already there. So, and of course, they're changing the prices of everything. I can't keep up with the supermarket. They change the labels there and the prices every day. You know, it goes up too. They don't seem to come down. All right. At any rate, enough said. I've got a little bit of senior news for you. One of the revelations that came out, incidentally, is that seniors who are skinnier seem to live longer. And if your body mass is, the greater your body mass is, I guess the fat you have or muscle, even muscle too, the shorter your life. You're going to croak earlier. Be careful about that. And women, watch out. Emotional stress it tends to have a link to arteriosclerosis, so keep an eye on that, guys. If you women, don't try to stress out quite as much. You know, calm down, take it easy. How can you these days? It's incredible the things that are going on around us. All right, so at any rate, a little local news here. A village of Westfield wants to say they're having a pancake supper. And that'll be fun. Plans were finalized for St. Joseph's Day. Not in Westfield, but this is over in, let's see, in Dunkirk. They bring a dish to pass. Most senior groups here, they're really warm and welcoming, so if you don't belong to one, join yours. You traditionally bring you meet once or twice a month. You bring a dish to pass. You bring your own silverware, which you can clean up at home. And it's just a convivial group. You sit around and relax and chat, and you've got people you've known since childhood in some cases. And people that are your age, so they worry about the same problems. All right, over at Lakeshore Seniors, Stella Mikulak does the job. And I wanted to say happy birthday to Charlene Hallmark and to our friend Stella Mikulak. Dunkirk Seniors, they have a board over there, very active. Barbara Bages does the job. And St. Patty's Day, they're going to have a potluck dinner, and guess what they will provide, of course? Corned beef and cabbage and potatoes. You can't go wrong with that on St. Patty's Day, guys. Corned beef is traditional. And you know, corned beef was first sort of invented and served down in Brooklyn, New York by a Jew. There you go, guys. No pinochle. All right, now they're going to go to the Batavia Downs on April 17th, which is just 1 month from St. Patty's Day. A lot of people celebrating St. Patty's Day on Saturday. That's today. What's today now? It's the 15th, right, of the month. Well, St. Patty's is the 17th, and it's not a movable feast. You have to celebrate St. Patty's Day on St. Patty's Day. But try to argue with people. Oh, I give them a good night's sleep the next day, you know. Yeah, right. My family's doing the same thing. I told them, this is absurd. Brockton Portland Seniors, quite a bunch over there. And they meet at the Legion in Brockton. And they have quite a turnout. Margaret Jagoda is the president over there. And she says that they're looking forward to a trip on the Chautauqua Belle. That's that beautiful old ship you see down by the park on the shore here in Mayville, New York. You know, it has a big paddle wheel on the end of it, and they serve dinners on it. You get everything. They go up to Chautauqua and back and all up and down the lake anyway. St. Patty's Day is the next meeting, incidentally, over there at Brockton, Portland. Of course, St. Patty's Day. Forestville Pioneer, up in the hills. And they have, I want to say happy birthday over there to Molly Meadows. And I want to say on April 10th, the United Senior Council will meet there. If you want to bump into these guys, drop around at the Forestville Municipal Building at 10 a.m. The Senior Council is quite a group. It's made up of leaders all over the county of seniors, and you get a chance to meet. And anybody can join. You don't have to be a leader. You can just be a follower. Get out of the way, that's all. Silver Creek Seniors, Vice President Suski does a job. They're having a St. Patty's Day dinner of ham and cabbage. What? Corned beef. Let's see, Westfield Seniors, they meet generally at noon over at the YWCA. It used to be a YMCA in Westfield, but only the W has survived, and that's next to the library up just a little bit. You can't miss it. And drop around there. They're having a meeting coming up very shortly. They meet once a month, and they help each other. You know, the Union Relief Christmas baskets and scarves are being made, hats, mittens, and they're being collected, and they're given to people that need them. You know, some people don't have warm scarves or hats or mittens. I see kids wandering all over the place in the brutal winter. You know, when you got temperatures around 8 degrees and it's just brutal, and a wind blowing and snow falling, and they have no scarf, no mittens, no hat, sometimes not even boots. They're walking around in tennis shoes. You got to be kidding me. Come on, guys, shape up. Yeah, enough said. I got a quick note. Let's see. They said costumes. Who makes costumes? That's nothing to do with this show. All right, guys. Enough said. I got a guy coming on here who tells it like it is, and he's ready to shoot. So we'll wait a moment here. I've got a public service announcement for you, and this is just for you, and then we'll see Doc. Doc will be here. Here you go.
We have a job to do out here today.
To be a winning team, you have to work like a winning team.
My team depends on me.
And my team is 50,000 strong. Looks like a lot of work's going into this.
This is what it feels like to be part of a team.
A winning team.
The action team.
Are we ready? on the action at actionteam.org. Are you in?
Are you in? Yeah, I'm in. Here we go. This is Doc Hamels, and he shoots from the hip, and he's going to sing us a tune maybe. Here you go, Doc. You're on.
Thank you, Reed. Good morning. Good morning to our guests. Good morning, everybody out there in TV land. Happy St. Patrick's Day weekend, right, Reed?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's not a movable feast. It's only on the 17th, but everybody's doing it on the weekend. Who's that little leprechaun?
It's a little leprechaun's my granddaughter. She joined me today, and she's gonna model something really cool. Want to stand up for a minute, Kyla? Okay. See with that Doc and Bill.
Doc and Bill. Who's
Want
Doc
to turn
and
around?
Bill?
And if you've been to our show, you'll understand the horn part. There's our Facebook. Thanks, Kai.
There you go.
She's my little leprechaun here today.
Sure.
So how you doing, Reed?
Well, I'll tell you something. Considering how old I am, I'm doing pretty well.
Very good. Well, I got to tell you, last night was a fabulous night. Bill and I played at the 1891 Opera House, and we were in concert in the.
That's in Fredonia, right?
Fredonia, and it was a wonderful evening. If you've never been there, it is a treat. And for us as a musician, the acoustics in there were fabulous. I mean, I could hear myself breathing. That's how good the system was, and it was a couple hundred people there, and it was a lot of fun.
It's a beautiful place, a historic place,
gorgeous.
And it was in terrible shape. And guess who came in to rehab it? Senior citizens.
Senior citizen,
Yeah.
Gilman's, I know were part of that project,
Yeah.
and I ran into a lot of old friends there last night. So anyways, well, Reed, I decided today I was going to do something a little different. I'm not going to sing. I got to rest my voice because I got 2 more gigs this week, and you know how it goes, feast or famine. And so I'm going to play a song for you that you're always pestering me about.
Oh, Danny Boy.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. My fingers are a little tired, but I'm going to rest my voice this morning. Hey, Kyle, look at your name over there. See on TV? So anyways, I'm going to, hopefully this goes well. We'll see how it is, okay?
You're on. Let's hear it.
All right. Jeff tells me I got to move this just a little bit closer.
All righty.
So let's see what happens here.
Beautiful song. That was also written by, incidentally, someone who's Jewish in Brooklyn.
Well, that was actually 2 songs in one. I put together Shenandoah, which was written by an Irishman.
Coming up. I was a little confused at first.
Right, well, that's the whole idea, is keep you off guard. The first one was Shenandoah, and then I rolled into, of course, Danny Boy.
Yeah.
So that was for you, Reed, because you always pester me.
Yeah, well, I tell you, Danny Boy is a classic piece. Unfortunately, Danny Boy is no longer with us in that song, and he's speaking from the grave, really.
Right, well, that's what the song's all about.
Yeah,
is a
right.
grandfather talking to his grandson or son that's going off to war and saying, you know, I'm not going to be here perhaps when you get back, but I'll be thinking of you.
I'll be thinking of you.
But to do the justice of that song, you really should be a tenor. I'm a baritone. So I decided though I will sing it under certain conditions, but I hope you enjoyed that. So, folks, happy St. Patrick's Day, and be safe out there. Take it easy on the you-know-what, and we'll see you next week. Back to you, Reed.
The you-know-what is grog, incidentally. Something similar to that. Yeah, actually, it's Ishkabaha.
Ishkabaha.
Ishkabaha, which is Irish whiskey.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. So I can't wait to hear about what's coming on next.
Well, we're going to talk about energy.
Good.
And there's a lot of energy flying around, and the thing is to capture it. You know that there are 100 million volts every second from lightning, and they haven't been able to figure out how to harness it. You could. It's all the energy every second to light every house and fulfill every energy need in the United States, every second from lightning.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And lightning kills kills a lot of people every year.
Yeah. I think people are really surprised to know that, because you think that everybody gets out of the way, but you got the golfers or hunters out there, or people just walking.
Anybody who's sticking up, incidentally, you don't want to stick up. If you're out in a flat area, lie down, I guess.
Get out of the way. All right, I'm going to get back to the controlled booth to take phone calls, because I hope some people are going to be calling it, because this is a great topic. So I'll let you guys go. We're going to go back. See you later.
Bye-bye. Thank you. That was Doc Hamels, and he plays the guitar like a master. David Moller runs a company, Wind and Solar, right? Royal Wind and Solar.
Right.
And what's that? Scoot together. Come on over here. See, they can't see both of us together unless we're fairly close.
Okay.
That's perfect. Now, David is into energy, basically, and alternative energy. So, first of all, where did you grow up? Where were you born and raised?
Born and raised in Jamestown.
You're a local boy, huh?
Yep.
And did you go to school, learn about energy somewhere?
No, mechanical technology, but I've been into alternative energy since I was a Boy Scout, and I built things back then for demonstration.
Uh-huh. What did you build
Back then or today?
for energy back then?
Back then I built solar collectors and solar cookers and demonstrated the ability of
Yeah.
the sun to
Actually,
cook food.
the Mother Earth catalog has a lot of
Right.
energy stuff in it. I was very impressed one time. They had a tank with it was painted black, and they put it inside a refrigerator. They opened up the refrigerator during the day when the sun was on, then closed it at night to retain the heat. And it was all black, which you need to generate the heat, apparently. And you could actually heat your house, your dishes need anyway. And you could take I think they said a 6-second shower or something.
Yeah, that's one of the most easy beginner projects that you can have, demonstrated in Mother Earth News magazine for anybody to try.
And you basically cost you nothing for your hot water. Strangely enough, they tell you it works even when it's overcast, because enough sun energy comes through to give it to heat it up. It's not as good as when the sun is shining, but
Right.
it still works.
Right.
And up here in upstate New York, we get more sun in the winter. A lot of people don't know that.
Not enough, as far as I'm concerned.
This year, apparently, we got bypassed. You could say I went to Florida, but didn't. They've been cold down there, too.
Yeah.
They've had cold all over the country, especially in the eastern edge and the Midwest. Well, Dave, you grew up here, was in energy. You were always involved with energy. Tell me, what's your favorite energy source that you're working with? Now, it says wind and solar. What do you do mostly?
Well, I don't really have a favorite. I try a lot of things. I'm an experimenter, and I spend most of my time currently with solar energy installations, and I've done quite a bit with wind energy, and I build wind turbine blades and ship them around the country for people's personal projects.
They say that, I was told that the little electric plant, coal-operated in Dunkirk, generates a certain amount of energy, not a lot, but a small amount. And in order to duplicate that with the windmills, you'd have to have a line of them at the legal distance from Cleveland to Buffalo. So apparently it takes a lot of windmills, and you see the windmill farms everywhere now.
Well, it takes a lot, but you don't want to try and cover this with one source. You'll have to use many sources of energy like solar as well. There's lots of large solar installations being put in today in brownfield sites for like old dumps and things where the land is not usable for anything else, but it's a wide expanse, and they're capable of putting in quite a bit of energy in solar fields.
Well, I've seen the solar fields, and they have just big mirrors, it looks like. What are they?
Those are reflective high-intensity ones, but the regular fields that are most common today are just typical solar panels put in racks and set up in rows in large areas.
What are they doing? Where do they put them?
Where do they put them? They can be, they're usually, investors usually put into these, like the large wind turbines. There'll be investors to get the projects going. And these fields are old dumps and big flat areas that are considered wastelands, but they're very usable for this because these sit on top of the ground, and solar energy can be used in a bigger
solar
way.
Energy now, right?
Solar, yeah.
The big panels.
Right.
Quote. The windmills make a noise. They go whoosh, whoosh, whoosh.
Yeah, some do.
And they bat down birds. The Audubon Society says don't use them.
Well, there's an argument from either side. I don't feel they kill that many birds. There may be a few mistakes. I hit birds with my truck unknowingly. People's cats kill more birds than any wind turbines. So it's where you want to be. I mean, you put your house there and birds run into your windows. So there's, I don't want to call it acceptable losses, but there's a lot of things to consider. So whatever side of the argument you're on, you're going to, of course, embellish that side.
Yeah, well, one of the interesting laws that was passed a while back was it's illegal to count the dead birds under one of the windmills. Did you know that?
No.
They may have backed off on that. It used to be illegal to trap mice because they're mammals. They didn't exclude them. It's illegal to trap mammals without a license, and suddenly they discovered, these brilliant lawmakers, that mice are mammals. So are rats, incidentally. Oh, God help us. It reminds me of that insane SAFE Act that Cuomo passed. What a laugh that is. You can't even buy ammo now without going through a check and paying for it, I might add. Buy a box of 22. You got to be nuts. And they just convicted some guy of selling a gun to somebody because of the intricacies of this law. It's very difficult to really understand exactly what it means. And so some poor guy sold a gun to somebody, and they put him in jail forever and ever, I think. At least they convicted him. And that was yesterday. Wasserman was his name, poor guy. Cuomo, don't bother running for office in upstate New York. You're doomed. Don't even try for dog catcher upstate New York because of your SAFE Act. You sneak through in the middle of the night without the legal parameters required by New York State, such as going through a committee and being checked out. And what's crazy, 7 shells all you can put in a gun now, otherwise they arrest you. And incidentally, they were so stupid, they put it through in such a rush, they didn't exempt the police. The police had to follow all these stupid rules. They quickly reversed that, of course.
Oh, of course.
But don't bother, Cuomo. A word of advice from an old broadcaster who's been around. So David, I decided to go solar. I say, Dave, come over and fix me up. What do you do?
I would arrange to come over and do a site survey at your house and see.
What's that mean?
It's a feasibility study to make sure you don't have too much shading from trees.
Okay.
And your building is oriented correctly, or you can have a choice of mounting it on the ground if you have enough yard space.
Oriented? What's oriented?
Pointing in the right direction.
So it's got to be pointed in the right direction?
It's got to be pointed almost straight south.
Straight south?
To be perfect, yeah.
You catch everything off the south, huh?
Yep.
And what's it cost me?
A typical family of 4 that has an electric bill of about $100 would...
Mine was $270 this year. Last month. Unbelievable.
The system would cost initially about $30,000. After incentives from the state and your income taxes, you'd be down to around $8,000 or $9,000, which has a payback of about 7 years.
So no, you're saying, what's payback mean?
Payback means that your electric bill will, the money you save from your electric bill will have consumed the cost of your money layout.
In 7 years?
7 years. Or just a few short years ago, it was up to 15 years. So efficiency and pricing of parts has really reduced the payback period.
So if I wanted to put it in 7 years, I'd be gaining how much?
In 7 years, you'll be at 0, and from there on, it'll be pure gravy.
Does the electric company pay you?
They will pay you, but not as much as you expect. So it's not beneficial to overbuild your system to feed a lot of extra power into the grid, because they pay you at wholesale rates where it's not effective to add more equipment to get there. You just want to get your bill to 0 and call it even. Is the most efficient way.
So you just don't have an electric bill after 7 years?
Correct, right.
What do you do for cloudy days?
These will still produce power on a cloudy day. A lot less, of course, but they still produce.
What if they fog up? You tell me that happens sometimes.
They don't fog up.
They don't fog up.
There's no hollow space in them, so there's no fog issues.
But
they will get covered with a little bit of snow.
Yeah, snow. That means that's it. That's curtains, right?
Well, in the wintertime, the sun is very low, and the losses you'd have on a really cloudy, snowy day aren't that much. If you covered it in the summertime, you lose a day's worth of sun, and that's a lot more. So wintertime, the losses aren't that dramatic.
Not a big deal?
Not a big deal.
Now, do you put in windmills?
I have put in a few windmills, but they're more of a very specified, very personal kind of situations. I don't do them regularly. I've built a few towers and a few wind turbines. But to be honest with you, wind turbines are mechanical monsters that need care, and you have to be passionate about wind turbines to want to use them. They take some maintenance. They're hard to get to. They're really high in the sky.
What kind of maintenance do they require?
They need lubrication and adjustments.
You oil them how often?
I do mine twice a year.
Twice a year oil them, okay. Anything else? Pick up the dead birds?
Well,
no dead birds.
You got to consider too that Mother Nature and wind is a very, very strong issue. Though it'll rip your machine apart if you don't furl it, which means pull the tail and park it in a safe position when it's calling for high winds.
So you got to actually go up and service it, right? There's a high wind?
Well, you can service it on the ground if you can tilt it down or get a crane to bring it down. So those are issues that you have to consider before you invest.
So otherwise it tears it all up, huh?
The wind can damage a wind turbine.
We got a call. You want to take a call?
Sure.
Hey, caller, you're on.
I was wondering, if you're out in the middle of the woods, is there ways to have like a battery so you can charge it up so maybe you're not using it all the time, but, so when you're not generating power, you still have power?
Yes. I've designed a number of small camp-size energy systems. Myself, I have a battery charging system at my house. And camp systems can be charging all week long, and when you get there on the weekend, you could have power to run small refrigerators and TVs and lights.
All right, and then what is the average cost if you were just to get like a camp-size system with that? Maybe you could power your laptop or something while you're watching movies, or.
That would be about $1,000.
Okay.
You're talking about wind or solar?
Solar energy.
Solar energy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, ma'am.
And then one final thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Solar, can you get heat and energy off the same devices now?
To get heat off of an electric producing solar panel, you'd have to run that electricity to a heating element. And some people have done a lot of water heating with using the electricity to heat heating elements.
But you can't take and get heat directly from a solar panel? Correct.
You got photovoltaic panels which are electric producing, and then you have solar water heaters. They're different things, but the electric one can be used to heat water.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. It's probably pretty inefficient, though, isn't it, if you're using your electric for to heat water?
No, it's not bad. Electricity is a great heater because all of it's consumed. You're not losing any up a chimney or anything, so electricity is great for heating water.
How about passive solar? That's how they usually heat water, isn't it?
Passive solar is the solar panels today are better. There's certain types of panels called evacuated tube, which are glass tubes with like a refrigerant in a tube, and those things work really well. They work way better than your old flat plate collectors of the old days.
They have refrigerant in them.
They have a material in them. Maybe it's not a refrigerant. It's a liquid that boils at the sun's temperature, and then it recondenses up in the water cavity so that the energy is being able to transfer away.
As it's recondensing?
Yes, and it acts like a refrigerator works.
Sort of the reverse, though, right? You're getting heat.
Right. Your refrigerator takes heat from inside your refrigerator, puts it out in your room, and these take heat from the sun surface and put it into the water.
Okay, the question I had that somebody else had asked is if they have developed a new kind of a wind machine or whatever, turbine. It's small. It fits on the top of a house or around, and they're considering even putting them, they have been putting them along roadways. As a truck goes wheeling by, it really spins them, gives a good spin.
Well, the output of a device that small is very limited, so you'd have to have so many, and you'd be investing a lot. Better bang for your buck is to go bigger, to collect more wind.
Those giant turbines that they see on top of hills, and they don't like them around here, I noticed. I was told they're ugly.
Some people love them, some people hate them.
The ones who have to go up and oil them.
Yeah.
They hate them.
Yeah, it's a big job.
Yeah. Well, how do you oil them? Do you have to climb up? Or?
Yeah, you go up inside the tower, and they do maintenance up inside.
Oh, yeah?
There's oil and gearboxes, and there's different kinds.
What do they have inside the tower?
The generators inside there. Some of them are generators, some of them are alternators. Most of them are alternators, and a lot of them have gearboxes.
What's the difference between a generator and an alternator?
Generators produces DC electricity, and an alternator produces AC electricity.
Oh. Basically, though, they're pretty much the same, right? They generate electricity.
Generate electricity.
All right. Tell me if I were to ask you to put in a windmill, or one of these wind turbines. Now, what would that run me?
How big?
Well, enough to run my house.
There's lots of questions. And it's hard to determine what will run your house, because you might leave your TV on all day, and where other people turn their TV off. So everybody has different requirements for electricity, and when it comes to conservation and determining what they might need, they really need to look at their own lifestyle and determine how much waste they're having in their own home. Most people could probably reduce their electric bill by a whole third just by being conservative.
Yeah, just changing from incandescent to fluorescent bulbs. And,
exterior lighting can be turned off more, less exterior lighting. A lot of people waste a lot of energy on exterior lighting at night.
You mean the porch light or that thing?
Well, some people put floodlights all over their whole house just to show off their house at night, and that's really a bigger waste of energy.
We'll have to talk to the Presbyterian Church in Westville.
And sometimes it's for security.
We can see their steeple from the top of the hill. You go up on the top of the hill and look down, and that's about the only thing you see in Westville besides a few lights here and there, you know? Is
advertising.
That beautiful steeple on the Presbyterian Church, which they just repaired, I noticed. They did a whole lot of hard work up there. I guess slate is a devil to work with, and it looks like they had slate on it. So how often do you get a call for one of these things?
I do site evaluations a couple a week, and a lot more people are interested in it today. Education is up on it. Efficiency is up. Pricing is down. So it's becoming a lot more viable for our area. Just a few short years ago, people didn't think it was for this area because we have such, compared to other areas, a lot less sunlight. But since they do produce in cloudy days, and the pricing is down, efficiency is up, it's becoming a lot more popular.
This is electric now, right? I mean, this is
electric.
Solar-powered electric. I guess not too many people go in for those big windmills, especially if you got to pull them down when there's heavy wind.
Well, the big megawatters, the big white ones you see, they don't take them down to work on them. They work on them inside. Any home-sized one, Sometimes you climb the tower to work on them, and sometimes you tilt them down. Mine are tilt-down towers.
How do they tilt?
With a big winch and cables and heavy cement in the ground. And it's a big job.
So actually, probably the wind power is not going to take over the world. I see the windmill farms, and they're out in the bays sometimes in the water.
Yeah.
And you say, this was a beautiful view one day. Now look at it.
Depends on how you look at it. Or do you want to continue getting oil from overseas, or do we want to be more self-sufficient?
Maybe we could just use the solar panels. We got a phone call. You want to take one?
Yeah.
Hey, you're on, caller.
Good morning, and good morning to your guest. This is a fascinating topic. I've been very interested in it for years. Could you tell me, there was a point in time where New York State, through something called, I think it was NYSERDA, would provide grants. Is that still going on?
Yeah, that's still a viable grant. It's paid for through everyone's electric bill. There's a small thing in there that if you read the definitions of all the elements in your electric bill, you'll see that one of them has to do with alternative energy, and people are paying into that all the time to keep that a rolling program. And it's still available if you qualify for, out of a $30,000 system, it would pay somewhere around $5,000. And then there's other incentives through your income tax, federal and state.
Okay, and would you be able to explain that when you're out on a site visit?
Yeah, I usually do make sure the customer knows all of those things before they make decisions.
With wind sort of being controversial, which is the more popular these days?
Best bang for your buck, safest, less mechanical issues is solar energy. There's nothing moving. There's almost zero maintenance. Just cleaning solar panels is all your maintenance is going to be, and solar by far.
So from the day someone says, I want to do this, to the day you flip the switch, how long does that take usually?
There's some time issues on signing contracts with National Grid, getting approvals on your equipment from them, getting your paperwork through NYSERDA, which some of that can overlap and your project can start, and then most townships need a permit, so there's a little time on that. But once the equipment gets to the project, it's only about a week and a half and your switch is on.
Wow. Now, what's this about you get money back from the grid? Does that work?
Yeah, if you produce more than you need, you'll get a check reimbursing you for that small amount of energy. If you produce less than you need, then you'll pay a small electric bill. But when you produce so much in the summer, you overwhelm. You produce way more than you need, and then that credits you through the winter when you produce less.
So how do we get a hold of you?
I am on Foote Avenue in Jamestown. I can give my information at the end of the show.
You give the phone number now.
My phone number is 716-483-6123.
483-6123. And you will come out and check the house out anyway, right?
Yeah, I do site surveys and discuss options with the customers.
Are you online at all?
I have my wind turbine blades online under Royal Wind and Solar, but I don't have a solar page.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I'm enjoying the show.
All right. Thank you.
So the question is, how long does it take? He said, well, you pointed out you could do it in about a week, 2 weeks, but after all the permits are in and this and that and the other thing and the grid, how long does it take, say, it's now March 15th, and I call you up and say, I'm interested in solar panels. Now, how long would it take to get them up?
I could have your system switched on in about probably 4 weeks. You could be totally complete and producing power.
In other words, the companies, the town will issue a permit immediately.
Pretty fast. Yeah, it's about a week. You get that back. Paperwork for the grid takes about 2 weeks, but you can start your project.
So actually, you say within a month you could have it, huh? I could have it.
Yeah.
And then I have to wait 7 years before I make money on it.
Well, you won't have an electric bill from that point on.
But it's cost, so I have to...
Yeah. Your initial investment will be paid back in 7 years.
7 years. talking to David Moller. He runs a company called Royal Wind and Solar. On his lapel you can see it, and he's into solar and wind power, although, as he says, wind power is not a big part of the business, right?
Wind power is very exciting for me because the turbines that I build are very good producers. I use old technology from old wind chargers and old Tesla alternator technologies, but there is a lot of maintenance and there's a lot of issues you have to take care of this thing. It's not going to just run by itself. You got to be very careful with the wind. Wind is very powerful compared to other alternative energies. Wind is more of a passion, but if you got it running, you'll produce some serious power.
So if you put up one of those giant ones you see all over the place on TV, would they run a house?
The giant ones run many homes.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, they'll run, I don't know, 1,000 homes. Those put out megawatts, whereas a little turbine like I would build for a home puts out 6 kilowatts.
6,000 watts
6,000
per hour,
watts,
right?
yeah. And those big turbines put out 1.5 to 2.5 megawatts.
Wow, those are potent
And
stuff.
when you see a field of 50 of those, you're looking at some serious power being produced.
Enough to run a whole town, maybe. Huh?
Oh, way more, yeah.
Yeah, whole city, maybe a small city.
Yeah, small cities.
Okay, Dave, I think there may be somebody out there who is listening to this program who would be interested in putting in at least the solar. I guess the wind turbines that are serious, you don't put them in the middle of your village.
No, there's a lot of zoning issues with towers, and so there's questions to be asked with your township before you can go on down that road.
Yeah, and some of the townships don't seem to be anxious to have the wind turbines in their town, even back in the woods.
Yeah, a lot of townships are new to the game, so they're not super familiar with it. And when you sit down and talk about rules for your home, they are going on rules for the big megawatters, and they really don't cross over. So you have to. Sometimes you have to educate your township on it, and then they come around once they understand.
Do you think that they'll become more popular?
I think so.
Towns will start to accept them better.
For sure.
I think the question is, though, like if I put in electric, now would this cover my whole roof?
I mean solar power?
Solar.
Depends on your roof's shape. For instance, a 6,000 watt system, like I mentioned before, would be a space of 13 feet by 32 feet. So a large garage, it wouldn't quite cover one side of a roof.
And that would probably generate enough power to run your house, or not?
That covers you, yeah. It covers a $100 electric bill or so.
Yeah. Lots of power. Tell me another thing. If you say you have to clean them, what do you do?
You may not have to clean them. Around here we get enough rain and snow. They stay pretty clean. In a dusty environment like a desert or an industrial area, you'll probably get some dust and you can hose them off or squeegee them, wash them like windows.
They're flat on the outside, right?
They're flat on the surface, but they're angled at 42 degrees. So they're pretty steep, and the snow slides off. They produce a little heat in the winter, so the snow will slide off fairly easily.
How about that? Well, that's fascinating because it's a viable, operable program right now, and it's a virtually free energy if you want to do it, right?
Once your investment's paid for, yeah. And a lot of people do it for different reasons. Some people just, they are dead set on being as green as possible, reducing their carbon footprint. Some people like the technology and say, I want to do this just because I want to do it. Some people invest in Corvettes, and some people invest in solar systems. So it's just a matter of
Okay,
your
well,
own
we have
opinion.
a phone call. You want to take a call?
Yeah, let's take a call.
Good morning, caller. Thank you for waiting.
Good morning, Rick. Good morning, Dave. This is really interesting. You discussed a little about like communities when you want to put up a big windmill there. I'm just wondering, the hassles, the community, if they want them there, neighbors, what it does to your home value. And I'll let you go after one more question. Is the government going to step in and want taxes off these real soon? Or, they're going to start losing money from the other our grids? Are they going to start taxing these in the near future? Just wondering on that part, because I know the government, you know, how greedy they are. They want money. So I'll hang up and listen on TV. Thank you.
All right, thanks for calling. There's the townships and the county has basically verbally promised not to raise any taxes on property for adding alternative energy. As far as the big, I'm not sure if you're talking about the big megawatters or small home-sized turbines. The towns are becoming pretty friendly with this home-sized turbines as long as you obey the rules about tipping over on someone else's property and safety issues with your own home. But I don't know much about the big megawatters and the politics involved with those. I know it's a never-ending game.
Sounds like it. Thank you, caller. You say batteries. You collect the energy in batteries. I heard they're pretty expensive.
Batteries are expensive, and that's one of the issues on an off-grid system. But some people don't have a choice. If you're in a remote space away from grid power, that's the only choice you have, and that's part of your investment.
So you charge those batteries up, and then they run you. How long will a charged battery run?
It just depends on how much your electrical load is. You design your battery system to accommodate your electrical load, and you try to get 2 to 3 days of time out of a battery set for your average system.
I got a house that's worth, I guess, about $20,000 now. It's the oldest house in Westfield, and I think say it's worth $20,000. So I put in solar panels on it. Does that affect it? The value?
Yes, I would say it would. You don't want to tell the town that because they're going to want to tax you for it. But they've promised not to at this point. But
they never keep their promise.
Yeah, you look at any house that has an option like that, equipment. I would say it was more valuable. So haven't read any studies on it on house values. But if I was looking at homes and it had a solar system already installed, I would definitely say that was a plus.
Yeah, you'd think it'd double the value of the house just about.
Well,
it
would increase it quite a bit.
Said that what's it cost to put in a small solar system that would run your house? You said the total, not what you would pay, but the total.
This first price tag is about 30 grand.
30 grand, so it should be worth 50,000. A question just came in from one of our viewers. The question on that is, if I were to go forward with this, the town is not supposed to tax it, as you said. What if they started to tax it?
You step up and fight it, I guess.
Sue them, right?
Well, I don't know about lawsuit, but you definitely have a voice in your town. That's what it's all about.
So we got to make sure that this is this a coming thing, do you think?
It's here now, and it's been here, and it's just going to get better and better.
In other words, more and more people are going to probably go for the solar panels anyway, right?
Yeah, more people get educated, they're going to realize that a lot of people don't even know about it, so it's becoming more popular, and a lot of people are getting on board.
And you got to go down to your town and say, or village, and say, don't you dare tax me on this. This is a non-taxable entity. I'm doing good. As a matter of fact, though, we are being taxed, as you pointed out. Everybody who has to pay a tax toward this anyway, right?
Well, it's a charge on your electric bill that contributes to this NYSERDA grant. The NYSERDA grant is kind of self-funding through that, so we're all paying it already. It's supposed to be viable through 2016, and I don't know if there's decisions going to be made after that about it or not, but it's first come, first serve on the grants until that date, until some news changes.
And that enables you to break even in, say, 7 years, right?
Correct.
7 years of waiting. It's worth it. I wouldn't do it because I'm in my mid-70s now. I probably wouldn't make it.
Well, there's different ways to look at that. I've had quite a few customers tell me they're older. They said, well, the investment's not going to pay off for me very well. I'm in my 80s, but he says I'm going to do it anyway because my home is going to my grandkids, and they're already going to be in the right direction when they get my house. So That's a really good way of looking at it.
And also, I guess I could sell my house for a lot more. Caller, you're on. We got another call.
Good morning. This is Linda Spalding. Good
Well, hi,
morning.
Linda.
Good morning, Reed. Good morning, Dave.
Are you ready to put in some solar panels?
Well, I think it's a wonderful idea. I think it's a perfect solution to the other alternatives.
Well, at your age, you'd make $1 million on it because you're young.
Yeah, well, it's also to save money with your utilities, and especially those two methods of harnessing energy are a lot safer than the other alternatives they're talking about.
Well, you're quite right about that. As a matter of fact, I just got a notice, speaking of the devil, yesterday that my electric bills are going to go up.
Mm-hmm.
And up. And up.
Yeah, well, the paybacks we were talking about are based on today's pricing, and we know we've already gotten information that our electric bills are going up this year and again in 2016. So the paybacks will be shorter.
Less than 7 years.
But the price of the materials may be up a little as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what about you? Would you consider it over there? She lives in Chautauqua.
In Chautauqua?
Yeah.
I would use solar panels definitely if I could for the building I have. I don't know. But I know if I were building a home, I definitely would want solar panels if I were about to. I wanted to ask you, do you know approximately how many people do make use of the solar panels, and how does that fit into the geodesic home? Do they use those?
A geodesic home, as far as roof mounting a solar system, would be the worst because it's shaped like a ball. But you want flat surfaces all pointing in the same direction. So you would definitely want to utilize a ground mount system if you had a geodesic home.
You just plant them out front, right?
Yeah, you put them in concrete with posts, and you build a little framework, and you hold it near the ground. It's about 3 feet at the bottom and about 13 feet high.
Probably keeps bears away, too. You know?
A ground mount system?
Yeah, it's mounted on a rack in the ground.
And so you got all these panels on front of your house, right?
No, you don't put them in front. Put them out back.
Well, okay.
Wherever.
The south. They got to be in the south.
It doesn't have to be towards the south, as long as it can look over your house if you have a big backyard, no problem.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
And this is with the solar panels?
Right.
Oh, I didn't know that they do that. Well, that's a great idea.
Yeah, you can put them like at the back tree line of your yard or something, just so they're facing south, and then you bury the cable under the ground to your house so there's no wires in the air.
Well, then people could do that to their houses quite readily. Is that considerably less expensive to do it that way, the ground mount?
It's actually a little more expensive. I try to keep the pricing the same and just take the beating on it, but I really want to promote this stuff, so I try to make my customers happy. But the ground mount actually costs a little bit more because of the concrete and the pipe and the frame that holds them. There's still hardware that holds it on your roof, but there's a little bit more hardware holding it on the ground.
Even though you don't have it on the roof, then you're still paying a little more, huh?
Well, the customer won't, but the equipment is a little more expensive.
So are you ready to go, Linda?
Sounds good to me.
More people would be able to utilize it but their yards are very tight sometimes, and they have a lot of trees, don't want to give up the shade, and I don't blame them one bit. But you really need some open space so that you can see the sun from about 9 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And in wintertime, the sun is at a pretty low angle, so you really have to consider your trees.
Now, that probably wouldn't work too well in Chautauqua, though, with all the foliage and trees and buildings close to each other.
There is some solar panels up there. I've noticed. I do a lot of metal work up there with my metal company, and they're packed in there. But they're in very strategic places, so that it's not a real common thing. And,
I think I know which house you're talking about that has the solar panels.
There's also a water heating system on one of the buildings out front in that big parking lot.
What system is that? Passive or?
No, it's an active system. They probably pump water through it. Passive solar is just something that heats up and it drifts on its own, and the active system has a pump and pushes water through.
Okay. So, Linda, all you need is an old refrigerator. You paint it black, put your hot water tank in the refrigerator, and leave the door open facing the sun, and it'll get all nice and hot, and you'll have a hot shower. And then at night you close it, and it keeps the water nice and warm for you, and you still have water in the morning to brush your teeth.
And you can also save a lot of energy by putting a lot of windows to the south and building a home that caters to solar energy.
Mm-hmm.
If you had a windows on the south, say ceiling to floor and door to door, end to end, would that be anywhere near the amount of money you'd make on the solar system? I mean, on the using the batteries.
It's hard for me to say. It'd make your house very comfortable on a sunny day in the winter. And then you put little awnings over those so that the sun in the summertime is shaded so that it doesn't come in.
There you go. Well, Linda, it sounds like you have, to me, if my memory serves me correct, you do something with the county, don't you?
Yes, the Office for the Aging. I have the Senior Employment Program. We have some openings that are coming up. Also, we have the computer training, the free computer training basic for seniors. And we have that going on in Westfield at the Patterson Library, at the Dunkirk Free Library, and the Jamestown Office for the Aging. And we're looking at opening at least one more site nearby. So it's been a wonderful endeavor. We've trained well over 1,000 people. And I encourage everybody to call our office if they're just the least bit interested in getting on the computer.
753-4471.
753-4471.
There you go, guys. You want to get on the computer if you haven't already learned. And seniors are one of the biggest users of computers these days.
Yes, they are. It's the fastest growing population for computer training. There are also other services with the Office for the Aging.
Okay. I noticed in a recent publication on seniors, if you're thinner, you live longer.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to live a long time.
Well, exercise is important too, nutrition.
Although women have to watch out, they're suffering heart attacks now. They get excited, you know. If you get excited, they say it takes like a day or two off your life every time you start to yell.
Really?
Yeah.
There's an awful lot of people I know are well in their 90s that do this.
Yeah, well, actually, I yell a lot, but I'm not that old. 75, you know, I got a lot of yelling left.
Somebody use yelling as stress relief.
Right.
Okay.
Well, have a great weekend. It was really very interesting and good to hear about.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for calling.
Of energy.
And happy St. Patrick's Day to you, lady.
Yes, a happy St. Patrick's Day to you, too.
Okay, Dave, we're finished. I just got a strange sound that came in. It sounds like this. We're out of here. I'll give you just a few seconds to close up. Go ahead, uninterrupted.
If you're considering alternative energy, get on the computer and look at everything you can read about it. The more you educate yourself, the better purchases you'll make. And there's lots of directions to go, from hydropower to methane production, solar and wind. So just check it out, educate yourself, and if you got questions, call me.
David Moller, Royal Wind and Solar. And what's your phone number?
My phone number is 716-483-6123.
If you want to get in touch and pursue any of the thoughts on this, we're not selling equipment. All right, I want to thank some special people out there who made this show possible. We have a fellow named Chuck Kelsey, and I know he celebrates St. Patty's Day with a Kelsey name. Devin Taylor, Chris Bird, Randy Bird, Chris Remaker, Jeff Zucker, Don Zenz, and John Hamels, last but not least. Great St. Patty's Day. Dance out there. Have a little toddy, a little bit of ishkabaha, and don't forget the corned beef, cabbage, and potatoes. May all that is proud and true and noble abide with you. I'm Reed Powers. Great show. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Great show.